Hello, everybody. I haven't done one of these for a little while. It's nice to be back live on our YouTube. I'm Becky from Northampton Film Festival, and this is one of two animation masterclasses that we have been doing because we are making our own. I'm a live action girl. My whole background has been live action. I've never done any animation at all, but we finally decided in my 22nd year in film that we should do an animation. So we're making an animated film about the Great Fire of Northampton. And because of that, because we have some support from West Northamptonshire Council and Click Arts Foundation, we also wanted to try and help. We didn't want to just make a film, but also to try and help connect, particularly in Northamptonshire, more animators to each other, whether they're amateur or professional, or somewhere in between. So we've done a few little masterclasses, and we are topping it all off with an animation networking event, which, if you're watching this live, will be in the future. If you're watching this recorded, you may have missed it, but it's on Tuesday, 23rd of September, and I will be plugging that again at the end. So if you are watching live, you can put your questions in the chat and they will come up and I can put them to Mandy as we go. If you just want to watch and not interact, that's also totally fine. I should plug as well that for the first time ever, the two things are not connected, but we now have an animation category in Northampton Film Festival and you can enter until the 31st of October. So if you have an animation, it can be as short as you like, up to 20 minutes in length, about anything. Could be a documentary, could be fictional, whatever. Please put it in. We've got some fabulous judges, and hopefully then you'll be joining us on the red carpet in March 2026. Whew. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Mandy Jennings, who is our animator for today. We're going to talk to. Hello, Mandy. How are you?
Hello, I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
Good, yeah, I'm all right. I'm in my little small, the world's smallest art centre, the Creative Place that we run on Northampton Market Square. I can't really give you a sense of how small it is, mostly because it's a bit of a mess at the moment. So I'm not going to put the camera around. It's very small.
Is it smaller than my box room?
I'm 3 meters. Yeah, I'm 3 meters by 4 meters.
Oh, I'm not sure in meters, but I can nearly touch all the walls.
Okay, you might have beaten me to the smallest creative space today. But yes, hopefully we might get some questions in the chat. But I'm going to open with my kind of favourite one, to be honest, because I'm really a bit obsessed with what people wanted to do when they were at school, and then actually like what they've ended up doing now, which could be the same thing or not. But yeah, when you were like, I don't know, 13, 14, what did you want to do?
Oh, boringly enough, I just wanted to be an animator.
Hey, I mean, I'm always really jealous.
Very fun, is it?
No, I'm always really jealous of people in a way that are like, yeah, I knew this is what I want to do, and now I do it. That's amazing.
It's kind of weird, and I don't know why. I don't remember. Well, I remember when I was younger really loving Woody the Woodpecker, which is not a cool cartoon to have liked, but I used to love it. And then for some reason, just always did love drawing and stuff, and then realised that you could do animation as a job. Yeah,
absolutely. So, I mean, how did you go from school, who probably didn't give you any animation training, I'm assuming, to starting to work in the industry? Because that's the question we get the most.
Yeah. So when I did art A-level at school, and my project was all about Walt Disney, and I made this big thing, book thing for him to go in, my project. Yes. And then I did Art Foundation. And then when I went to Art Foundation, I knew I wanted to do animation. So they put me with the photography guy, who was amazing. He was great. He was called Chris. Don't remember his surname. But he was amazing. And he got me a camera so I could do some... I did drawn animation. And he got me a little... Because it was videos then. This was a while ago. It was like a massive video in the camera. And I did it then. And then I applied. When I was there, I applied to a few places, but there was only one art college that did animation degrees. That was Farnham, which was the West Surrey College of Art and Design. Now it's called the Creative University. It's in Farnham still, but it's not called the West Surrey College of Art and Design. But yeah, and I went there. And I went there and did animation degree. Yeah.
And like, could you? Because I suppose, could you walk into kind of a job because you had that animation degree, or were kind of? And do you think that things have changed for people, who might be graduating next year?
Yeah, I think. Well, for me, I worked for a local company in my summer holidays. So I'm from Bedford, and there's a company in Stony Stratford called Terrific Films. And my friend, she lived in Milton Keynes, and she phoned them up because she was really brave. She phoned them up and asked if they needed any help over the summer holidays, and they did. And yeah, it was brilliant. We were there for like the summer, and it was all, we were making stop motion puppets, and there was a lot of stop motion stuff then. And they were making a title sequence, I think. Yeah, and it was amazing. It was brilliant. And the guy, and so then that was in my first year, I think, in the summer holidays. And then when I finished, I phoned up after a few months in a call centre. I phoned up the guy, Tim, who worked there, and it worked really well, because he was just like, yeah, we've got loads, come on, we need help. So I went back, and then I was very fortunate that I was there for about 10 years after that. Sort of a bit of freelancey stuff, but then they kind of started to get busier and busier, and I was very fortunate.
Well, I mean, one of the questions actually that someone asked at one of the other animation kind of masterclasses was kind of actually what tools do you need to know your way around for going out into this industry? Or if maybe it's not all about the tools, what I don't know, what are your top 3 tips things that people maybe need to master before they can go off into this big world of animation and actually make it?
Ooh, yeah. And one thing I forgot to say is that the boss, Tim Searle, was the boss at Terrific Films. He went to the same college that I went to, so it was quite small. There was only that one place you could do the degree, so it's quite a small sort of industry then. I mean, it's still quite small, but it's getting bigger. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, except actually, I mean, again, one of the things that just comes up time and time again, whether it's animation, live action, is that power of that network, and that you just keep going back. You might end up going back and bumping into people you haven't spoken to for 10 years, but having good relationships with them and having that network is really important.
Yeah, really important. And working well and being easy to work with, I think, is quite essential in most things. But in something where you rely on freelance work and things like that, being someone who you don't want to work yourself into the ground, but you need to be flexible when.
Absolutely. But yeah, what about, do you think there are any like definitive tools that people must have mastered to make their way in?
It's so difficult, isn't it? Because there's different strands of animation, isn't there? There's your kind of TV, film, there's art. You could go the creative arts kind of way into animation. So I think for me, because I work mostly now in kids telly, and there's certain softwares that people use within that. So I mean, they're good to know, but you won't, because there's not many shows, that I've worked on where they train you in it as well. So it's kind of handy to pick up basic knowledge of some softwares.
Well, yeah, and I mean, are there any kind of specifics that, like, thinking about, if people have looked at your CV and tuned in because they're thinking of that kind of kids animation stuff, is there anything that is, because again, I know it's just not my industry. like like live action, I don't get
Yeah.
Like, are there some real big particulars, if it's children's telly that you're really interested in, that again might be different to someone going out there to do something like some kind of grown-up animation?
I don't know. I mean, there's certain softwares that are used quite well. I use predominantly Cell Action 2D, which is it's a software that's kind of developed from drawn animation. So it's got the whole dope sheet that we used to use when we used to do it by hand and stuff like that. So it's sort of made my brain. But then there's Toon Boom, which is really popular, and Moho, which is really good, which I've just done a little course on. That's really good. I enjoyed that. And I've done, yeah. I think it's good to have a broad software knowledge, but also, you know, yeah, there's your basic sort of bouncing ball, but then most, you know, you'll do that at uni and everything to get your principles, or the principles of animation.
Oh, and talk about how would you describe your style of animation?
My style is, so basically I do what you kind of need to be doing what you're told when you're an animator. It's the director who tells you, you know. So I can, in my last project that I worked on was Nikhil and Jay, and that's really lovely. It's a really lovely modern kids program. It was really lovely to work on. And you know, you'll do something one way and the director will go, oh, I can't, you know, in a nice way, but just, so you'll do it that way, but then you just do it how the director tells you. So my style, my own personal style, which is something that I've recently got back into because I've had a bit of a break in projects, is natural, perhaps a bit more experimental animation. I quite like being outside and animating, not at the computer screen.
Yeah,
but
fair
then that's
enough.
maybe because I've been doing it for quite a while, but yeah.
Oh, and how do you find that whole, you know, there's things that you want to do, there's things that the project dictates. How do you find the fact that you're supposed to be really, really creative, but you've equally got to very much potentially fit a brief and, you know, work with the director?
Yeah, you know, that's what my job is just, I'll, you know, make that happen, do that. And you can be creative in your own, it's quite open. You know, they'll say, here's the scene and we want him to do this, this and this and this. By then he's got to be at the door and you go, oh, okay. And yeah, it can be quite creative and you can put your own things in. But ultimately, if the director sort of goes, oh, we thought he would do this, you just can do that. But that's my, you know, that's my, I'm more than happy to do that rather than be the person deciding and all that. That's a much more of a, I'll just do that.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, well, I suppose this is the thing, isn't it? It's kind of finding where you fit.
Yeah.
And I suppose, you know, like with everything, there's so many different ways that you. I mean, I suppose maybe this is a bit of a weird question, but like, how did you? Because I assume when you were, you know, 7 and were like, I'm going to be an animator, you just imagined, you know, doing it all yourself and it just being you and your creative. So how did you kind of find that? Actually, no, it's not that you don't want direct animation. You didn't want to do X, Y, and Z. Actually, this is how you wanted to work. This is the kind of style you wanted to be in. Did it all just happen by accident, by trying things, and then, or?
I guess so. When I was at the studio, we sort of when it was quite small, we all did all different bits. It was when, you know, we had to do a storyboard and it was all stuck down on a big A1 sheet. The boss would go off to London with it under his arm, you know, that sort of thing. So we all did ideas, we all did bits of everything. And I think perhaps when I went back to animation was after I'd had my family. So I was doing that from home, and also the thought of I just needed someone to just tell me to do something. Do you know what I mean? And then I didn't want to kind of career do that, pursue with being a director. Now perhaps I've got a bit more headspace. But then you think on a series, there's 1, 2, there'll be a director and an animation director, and there'll be teams of animators. So there's more chance to work on it if you're animating. Is that a kind of mean thing to make it?
No. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then you see the directors, they work so hard and it's always gets pushed, you know, there's a push towards the end, and maybe I'm a bit lazy.
Hey, I'm a big believer in just knowing yourself.
Yeah, I know. I just think, I couldn't be any. Yeah, I probably should.
No. I mean, hey, I think, you know, the joy of work in the creative industries, it should be that you find something that you love and you do it.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the actual dream.
I'm happy in my little lane. But then when I enjoyed recently, I've done my own film and I really enjoyed that. And that I'm like, yeah, that's where I see my creative sort of fiddling about. Yeah. Whereas when I'm working on a series, I'll just do what you want me to do.
Yeah. Well, and folks, we usually get quite a lot of people who are kind of at the beginning of their careers.
Yeah.
And for people that are looking to kind of enter, and let's say, because that's what you do, children's TV animation, what do you think are like the kind of things that people need to be aware of over the next few years? Like, we're all quite aware of AI and lots of conversations around that, and just generally the state of the creative industries, let alone just film and TV. But yeah, what do you think are the biggies that people need to kind of be aware of over the next kind of few years?
I honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know how, because I think at the minute it's quite quiet out there for animation, or it seems to be, unless they're all, you know, I don't know what it's like for film, but it seems really quiet for commissioning new things. And I don't know whether that's got anything to do, I'm not part of that sort of area.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. And it's quite scary. I do think it's quite scary to know what graduates now will, you know, what it will be like in 10, 20 years of their career. I guess it will just be different because people will still consume and watch animation, or even still want to make it. It's just how it's funded and how it gets made. I'm not really, I don't know. It's all over. You go to LinkedIn and it's all over it, isn't it? And it's sometimes I get a bit, ooh, let's just look over there.
Yeah. I think there's massive changes afoot, and film, you know, film is quieter than it has been for a while.
Is it?
Yeah, and I it's quite nice actually, you know, because I was hoping you'd have the answer, Mandy, but I don't have the answer. And also I'm a little bit skeptical maybe of the people that definitely do have the answers, because I think there's so many forces coming together at the minute.
Yeah.
That when I'm not sure anyway. But I was wondering if you had a view.
I want to be. So yeah, no, I just think it's a lot. There's a lot going on, and there's people that love it, and there's people that hate it. But it's not going to go away. So it's going to have to kind of come to some kind of. But then, if you think, like, the reason I can do what I do at home is because of a computer that's got some sort of knowledge of, I don't know how the computer works, but it does, you know, what I ask it to do. So yeah, I guess it's who's asking it to do the stuff.
Yeah. I agree about like, you know, the changes in filmmaking in like our lifetimes has been huge, and so it could be huge again in the next, you know, 20 years.
Then I kind of wonder whether things like film and animation, because I love, you know, my degree film I did on a cine camera, and I love that whole the craft of it. So I wonder whether everyone will go, oh, this is great, I can do it in 2 seconds, but it's got no soul. So people will come back to, because people still draw and there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, very true.
Then, you know, I don't know. I'm hoping that people will still enjoy the craft of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and talking about like when you have time to do those kind of your own projects, like where do you find your inspiration for those kind of things?
I'm terrible. I'm a bit like, oh, there, I want to do that, I want to do that, and that, and that. I get inspiration just quite quickly, not quickly, but I do. It's just implementing it, isn't it? Is the difficult bit.
Yes. And so you say you're making your own projects at the moment. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about it, and then also what you intend to kind of do with your films?
Well, I've got one that I did with my old boss from Terrific, Tim. He's just made a film about Milton Keynes, because I'm like right there. Yeah, it's all about the green spaces in Milton Keynes. So And for my film, I did sort of stop motion, like Andy Goldsworthy type style animation. And he wanted me to do some of that for this film. So I did some of that and I absolutely loved it. So I just edited it all together in my own way. And made it into a little film. Yeah, so it's just sort of earth animation, I suppose, whatever you call it. Yeah, animating sticks and stuff.
Well, and are you doing it because it's just a creative outlet, or actually is it about showreel material, or is it about? I mean, I'm obviously I'm biased and go film festivals, but yeah. What's the kind of main impetus for making stuff in your own time that that no one's paying you to do, which is the hardest thing.
Yeah, it was just because I got totally fired up by it, by doing it, the film and then just thought I could edit, and I have entered it into a couple of festivals. I need to enter it into yours. Yeah, there's one. And then, but yeah, it is. And then it's showreel, and then maybe workshops, people, it's just, I think it's good to have a broad, as the times change, it's good to have like a broad skill set.
Well, yeah, and you mentioned, I think you did, that you just finished doing like a course on one bit of software, like, and you say about like keeping up with, changes and stuff. What do you do, and where do you go? Like, is there a website that tells you, what you think the next big thing is, or how do you keep a kind of abreast of all those changes?
I do follow people on Instagram, and then there's a few websites for cartoon news. Cartoon Brew, is that one of them? Oh, I don't know now. There's a few websites that tell you that are sort of industry based ones, whose names I can't remember. And I follow them, and then people on Instagram, and then I've done a few courses before with this company, Adams Animation Academy. Yeah, and they've run a Moho one recently. And I've just done, well, I'm in the middle of doing that. Yes. Near the end of doing that. But yeah, it's been really good.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a reason that I don't physically make films myself is that I'm a bit of a kind of, and I still I'm so awful when it comes to like technology and not embracing new things. But I'm assuming, does that come just absolutely with the territory in terms of animating, or I mean, are the people that can still be very much stuck in their original animation style that haven't changed the technology they use?
I don't know, because there will be people who make films, creative films, art, like art based films. Is that the right term? Independent, yeah. I don't know, because there's some well-known animators and they still make work, but I don't know whether they've gone from paper to digital. Not sure. But then, when we first started out, obviously you draw it on paper, trace it onto the cell, and then film it, send it off, So if you could draw it straight in, it's amazing. So much quicker. So much quicker.
Well, yeah, and then kind of a little bit talking about the future as well. Like, what's kind of on your to-do list of things that you really want to do animation-wise, or next projects that you'd really like to work on or tick off?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I've got about 4 things that I want to make films. 4 film things that I've got bubbling along. But yeah, what happens is I'll get all excited about my own projects, and then some work will come along, and then you just kind of go on there, and then so it's all a bit pick it up, and then if paid series work comes along, then that gets put down. I've applied for funding for films. There's funding available but I haven't got any yet. But I'm not. I think there's a lot. I don't know. Haven't really gone down that route yet.
Yeah, I feel like there is quite a lot. I just think they're so competitive.
Yeah. Like, you look at the forms. Are they really competitive?
Well, I really know live action. So
yeah.
Well, and kind of what was I going to say? But yeah, I suppose also thinking about things that. So I mean, applying for that kind of funding to get stuff off the ground on your own is, I mean, it's a whole nother thing, isn't it? And you know, you're then your own producer, and that's a hard thing to manage. But I mean, also, how do you? I know, again, this is a huge question, but like managing that freelance lifestyle where, nothing might come along for a bit of time, then 5 projects come along, and you know, any insights into how you manage the old freelance nightmare for anyone that's thinking about. Sorry, as someone who's been a freelancer myself, I loved it in many ways, but also
yeah. Because when you're busy, and you can't think about anything apart from being busy, and then you kind of look up and go, oh, there's nothing coming along. Yeah, I haven't figured out how to manage it yet. I'm still working that out. And then I always think, oh, I'll be, I'll finish a project and go, oh, that's fine, I'll have a couple of weeks. And then sometimes something comes along straight away and I roll into the next thing. But then if it doesn't, the old kind of, oh, I can't do, that all comes along again, and
yes.
Yeah.
we all know. It's but I suppose actually, I feel that there's a roller coaster life of the creative and a freelancer. And if you're both a creative freelancer, even worse. But but I suppose, okay, what give us though then for a bit of opposite? What's the absolute best bits of your job?
Oh, I love it. I do love it. Yeah, I just enjoy all of it. She says that's really boring. But I just like animating stuff, moving things, making things move and bringing them to life. And yeah, even when there's a difficult bit and I get really annoyed, but then, the other one thing I was doing a few weeks ago was just driving me mad. All morning I tried to do this one thing and then went for lunch, came back and just did it. And it was like, oh, brilliant. It was just, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I'm quite happy when I'm doing it. Hours can go by and I've not had a drink or, don't even notice. But yeah, I do enjoy it. I'm very fortunate. But then it's the whole, when it's not there, it's like, ooh. Yeah.
And like, okay, you don't have to tell us all the secrets, but like, I mean, how do you get your work? How do you find your work? Is it all now about it coming to you? Is it still applying for things? Also, is it that people kind of look for someone that does your type of thing, and then they come to a load of you, or actually, how does that kind of work?
Well, I still apply. The last thing I got, I'd not worked for them before and applied for it and had an interview, and then some things is sometimes it's people who I've worked with before, if they've got something again, or, they'll come to me, or friends. Is kind of who not in a cozy way, but if you've met people, meeting people is really helpful. To meet people, chat to people, and then I look on LinkedIn. There's jobs that pop up on LinkedIn and stuff like that. I follow studios on LinkedIn and on the old Instagram, and then they put if they're looking for things on there. Yeah, just look everywhere.
Yeah. And nice, you've plugged my networking event for me. Thank you very much. Because you're right, it's not necessarily who in the who's married to who, but that reputation, that the people that you studied with, the people that your friends worked with on the last thing, or it's so important.
It is, and then if someone, you can not get onto a project. I didn't get onto one project, but they had an opportunity for kind of sickness cover, and just doing that for a bit, a month or whatever, and then the next time, so yeah, it's all about kind of just meeting with people. I think going to festivals, she says, as she's not really been to any for ages, but she's going to go to more. That's really that. I mean, I used to go to loads. And they were great. Good fun with the parties and meeting everybody and sitting watching films.
well, yeah, seeing what everyone else is doing, can help you kind of go, oh, hang on a minute, I should be trying to do a bit of that, or
yeah,
well, actually, I don't want to do that. That looks horrendous. No, you don't judge. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm going to ask you one final question, I think. Well, I kind of asked it before, and then I think I asked something else because it's what I do. But yeah, if you had a bit of just a kind of a top tip, and it could be something that you wish you'd known before you started out, or just something that, again, if someone is thinking about a career in animation, just they should really keep it in mind. What do you reckon is the thing?
What is the thing? I don't know. What is the thing? Just do what you enjoy, I think. And don't do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If there's a project and it's like a bit, then don't do it.
Yeah, no, literally same thing came up on the last one because I think it's all truth, about maybe, if it doesn't feel right, if it feels a bit, then you're probably right.
Yeah, just don't bother. Even, I've had some things been offered to me and you just think, I'm not really sure. And then put that aside, and we can't all, because I was listening to something when they were saying, yeah, but plumbers, they just do. Or no, I don't mean just plumbers, but people, when they're not in a position to be picky and choosy. What am I saying? Not everybody can just go, oh no, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right. But then if it's not with the money, you work to get paid, and if it's not, the pay doesn't equal out that, then, and if there's something else, then
yeah. I
think
that, no, I feel like that's probably one of bits of advice I'd give people generally. Like, if it feels weird, it's probably weird.
Yeah, it's probably weird.
And try and enjoy it. Yeah,
try and enjoy it, and don't, just value yourself. Absolutely. And your work. You can't do everything for free and stuff, and it's good to do stuff and get stuff happening and get stuff out there, but yeah,
absolutely. Fabulous. Well, thank you very much, Mandy, for joining us on a Thursday evening as the sun is going down outside.
Gloomy Thursday.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's stopped raining, so we shouldn't be complaining. Yes. But yeah, thank you very much. And hopefully, if you can make it, we'll see you at our animation networking event.
Yes, I should be able to make it, so I shall see you then.
Fabulous. Cool. So I'm just going to do a little bit of final plug for that. Tuesday, 23rd of September, 2025, if you're watching this on recorded, animation networking at V&B Northampton, which is opposite the Guildhall. Upstairs, it's all free, but do book on if you can, which you can do via our booking site. You can find that link generally to any bookings, event stuff on our Instagram, which is NN Film Festival, or on the website generally, which is northamptonfilmfestival.co.uk, where you can also find the submit link, which is sends you to Film Freeway for your animated films. And if you want to see the animated film that we're making, which kids have done some animating, local animators have done some other bits, and we're premiering that on Saturday, the 20th of September, on Northampton Market Square on a big screen. It's showing at 1:30 and again at 4:00. There's also loads of other things, a makers market, a stage with musical entertainment, dance, all sorts of things going on that day, and a bar by V&B again, because we seem to be obsessed with V&B in Northampton, as everyone should be. Come along to some of those events. They're all free. Sign up via the website, and let's just talk animation. Thank you very much for tuning in. Feel free, of course, to reach out to us if we can ever help you with film, animated things generally. Thanks.